Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ripster daily trade recaps and teachings, guys. Great start of the week, guys. Had decent winners, just like a couple of losers. Before I start, just a quick introduction to anybody who's new to my YouTube, new to my Twitter, or new to our community. These trade recaps and teachings are from my trades that I take in the community, or any trades that I do not take, but I guide my community on those trades, and any trade ideas that I share on Twitter, or any trade ideas I share on YouTube. I try to recap those. We try to see where we make money, where we lost money. We do not trade random. We follow a strict system, strict setup, that we follow. If I follow my Ripster EMA Cloud system, and we follow the strict setups. We trade on the principles of 4 pillars of trading, where setup, system, risk, and goal are our 4 pillars that I teach, and that's what we trade with. Whether it's swing trade, day trade, or investment, we follow repeatable process, nothing random. That's what we try to journal every day, see how our repeatable process worked, where we lost, what ideas we lost, what we won. Every day before the market open, we create a game plan as we go through all the news sources before the open. The front end of view right now, I have a game plan for today, which included SMCI, Tesla, NVDA, MULI, RILY 4, XPEV, among others. Based upon this game plan, we have a general bias, and we have our support levels and resistance pivots, which tell us that that the price is bearish or bullish based upon those pivots, and we combine that with our EMA Cloud system and the setups for the morning gappers, and we trade them accordingly. And any setup that we trade in midday, those are our midday setups, and we try to recap them as well. Not only that, we also share what we call as our daily levels. These are our daily levels for today: SPY, QQQ, IWM, Apple, Microsoft, AMD. These are the plays which we play every day, regardless of any news. They work with the market, they move up with the market, they move down with the market. Although semiconductors, AMD and NVDA had a bigger strength today. You can see the levels on AMD and NVDA, how they panned out, so they were good. And of course, when we discuss Netflix, we will talk about the resistance pivot on Netflix as well. Apart from that, we have our repeatable day 2, day 3 setup. Those are the setups, as that I introduced, which we call it as our day 2, day 3 setups based upon EMA Clouds. We keep watch list, and we keep watch on them every day. Today I was watching a bunch of day 2, day 3, like Adobe, Ulta, Groupon, and few others. We'll discuss how they went, and Adobe was really big win for us today on the day 2, day 3 setup. We'll talk about it in detail as well. Let's start with our first play of the day. So first one we're going to talk about is NVDA. Let's go back. The first trade of the day was NVDA. Let's go back, see the game plan for NVDA. The game plan on NVDA was pretty simple. There's a conference today, so NVDA was strong. We were watching our support pivots at 896, resistance pivot at 905. NVIDIA 1 hour was holding bullish, so that's why we were long NVIDIA at the open. As soon as the market opened, I said watch NVIDIA long. So I was on voice, I longed it, and also mentioned that we can watch the pullbacks. You can see here on NVIDIA, I typoed there, but I was on voice talking about longing NVIDIA at the open. So we longed NVIDIA at the open. It was our morning at the open trade, and first target was 915, then second target was 925. So we met our 915 target, 920 and 925. Almost we were short of our 925 target by $1. And as always, we always take our first profits into 10 a.m. and NVIDIA didn't hold the push, and it pulled back. But at that time we had locked. As it was pulling back, I told everybody that do not add now. I clearly told do not add. Watch the 900 level. You watch the market. We got the morning trade. We went from 905s, 906s all the way to 9024. Good win for us at the open. So no need to to try to chase the dips, right? Because it was gapping up, there was some news, and that's what happened. After my warning at 958, you see how NVIDIA pulled back to 900, and then it failed 900, and then it was a short. It was a gap fill short here. right? So it was a gap fill short. I didn't short this one, I was short SMCI. I will show you next on that one, because whole semiconductor sector was failing when NVIDIA failed, right? So there is no long. Okay, this is the first warning. When 512 breaks, you should supposed to get completely out, or you can wait. You know, if you can afford that $8 pullback, you can wait. But once it bounced to 900, it bounced once, bounce, fail again, you stop out right away on this bounce. If you're entered NVIDIA, you stop out right away and then you short it, right? Repeatable setup. Every day I show you under the 3450, gap fill, repeatable setup, big level 900, right? So it was all about this 900 level today, as I have been mentioning as well. And look here, even the 1 hour broke the trend. That's why I mentioned 1 hour. So there was no long in NVIDIA here. Between here to here, there was no long. You were not supposed to long it. If you long NVIDIA and lost, that's a problem. So just wanted to recap that, right? So had a morning win, a nice win, did not touch it long after that. You know, it was a short setup. The traders in community did short it when it was breaking under 3450 clouds, right? It's pure system. If you short it under 900, you made like nice 30 points. I was still guiding people on that downside watch, you know, downside watch, that we are going to go downside. So I was, only thing I had on this one was a couple of scalps later here on I think I had 960 puts, but my main trade was SMCI. I will show you, but this was the short then, right? There was no long here. So there was a short, there was a no long here, and so my 960 puts, I scalped a little bit. I got a decent amount of return. There was a support at 875, 880s. So next one we're going to look at is Adobe. So let's go back and look at Adobe, the big winner for us today. Why was it such a big winner? Let's go back and look at it. Let's go back and look at our levels. So Adobe, as you see, was our number 1 day 2 day 3 play. Resistance was 500. So it was a simple rule: moves over 500, you long it. That's it. You risk your low of the day opening price, you just long it, right? Even if you long later, I was on it right at the open, and if you long it at 500, right? So you long it there or there, your risk is over here, like $5 risk, maybe $5 risk. But look, you made like 15 bucks if you risk those $5. So you risk 1, you made 3. So anyways, I was long. I did tell people you can take 5, 10 calls, but they're a little spready. You can take 5, 15 calls. All of them went 100% by end of the day. But the morning push, as always, trend move, and then a pullback, lower highs, which resulted in a flag. It was nice call out on the Adobe flag in community today by one of our members. So that was pretty impressive. So you just need to identify these setups, right? You need to identify this. So it was a morning push and then a flag. Morning push and then a flag. Look at Maj was on top of it. He asked me, is it a flag? I said yes, that's a flag. So these flags usually occur 10, 10, 30. Then repeatable setup. So this is one of the setups I teach in my webinars. The morning 10 a.m., 10:15 repeatable setups. So you see this flagging, right? So I was a little smaller position because it was sluggish and also market was kind of pulling back. So I was a smaller position. I had a smaller position, and when it broke out of the flag, look what I said here: flag break, add into the position. That's when I increased my position because it confirmed the breakout. And from there it was just managing our targets. 507 was our next target, then that target met. 510 was our next target, that target met. Then after that I scaled out and told everybody that hold as long as 512 EMA Clouds hold. You need to just hold it. And then it went on to 515. That was my ideal target. All targets were meeting, and now since it was such a profitable trade for me, I'm holding some shares. Even some options, they are options are went 150% with the profits. You can roll them, but I really want to see 1 hour turn bullish before I really get confident about any swing setup here, because it can be just a 1 day bounce, right? Tomorrow it can break this 510s and we have to be bearish about it. So we'll just watch. So today was a nice bounce into the gap fill. We got a nice winning trade all day. You can see my guidance here, pause it, but it's that simple. This is how simple it is. Day 2, day 3 setups. right? You see, right? No hindsight, no nothing, long starter. I even told add into the position. This is the guidance that I'm trying to give and show people that how simple the setups can be. We don't do the alerts. I don't, we are not a signal service, but I try to show every day how the ideas pan out, how the idea is winning because of this repeatable setups. Now, if on this long you lost, then it's some problem with the execution. It's not problem with the system. So you need to size accordingly, right? So I was a smaller size because I was watching what happens, and then I added into the winning size. You can see here, add into the position. So it's very important to add into your winning positions and keep a risk small until they confirm the breakout. Once this breakout happens, it was off to the races. Big win for us today. Great job. So next one we are going to talk about is Tesla. So let's see what we were doing on Tesla. Let's look at it. How did we trade it? I think our execution and our analysis on Tesla was pretty spot on. So let's look at Tesla, right? So if we go back, look at our levels on Tesla, 170.78 and 167.50. Those were our initial levels, right? This level right here and this level right here. These two levels were our initial levels. And as soon as market opened, I told everybody, do not long it. Watch what it does on the cloud. I told everybody right away, do not long it. And you can see good warnings there, right? And I saw you can short scalp it into the gap fill, and that was good. And remember, we always lock your profits into the 10 a.m. After 10 a.m. something is going to happen. And that's what was happening. First candle, second candle, third candle, and 10 a.m. the bounce. That's why we obey our 10 a.m. rule to take the profits. So anyways, that was a short into the gap fill. When it's tried to hold a level and then it tried to push. And I was personally not long there. I'm not interested long there. I'm interested when it shows me strength and bullish over the big pivot. But you see, I closed the short at 10:08. I closed the short. The morning short scalp I was doing, I closed it, and I told it that for longs your risk is 166, right? So when it was pushing here, right here, I closed the short, and then I saw call flow coming in, and then I decided to long scalp it. So you can see that nice push, good timing on the short. 168 is a pullback zone. You should move the stops under 168. And then lot of flow coming in. You can see here, everybody can see the flow. We have so many option flow running on our screen shares, so everybody can see those flows. And after that, it was just trading, right? So this was the breakout. I even shared on Twitter on Tesla. I actually shared the complete idea on Tesla for my followers as well, just to teach them what was the setup. And I just didn't even look at 10 minutes. If you want to see that on Tesla, my idea was just a 1 hour breakout. Look here. So 1 hour breakout Tesla. 160. You see this trend line and the 1 hour trend, and this pushes, breaks out, pushing more, right? And into the target was 175. So we almost got to the 175 targets, if you see. And this was a great trade. I closed most when it dipped under 512s, although I would have loved to swing it. We'll watch it tomorrow what it does. 1 hour is still bullish, so definitely watching it. But you can see that my time-stamped guidance from our levels: short cover, long, and 1 hour breakout, right? This 1 hour breakout, and just that I shared on Twitter before and after. So everything comes together. And option flow, lot of option flow. They were buying a lot of options. I mentioned the call flow on the voice for this week for 180 calls and other calls, which gave us so much confidence to trade. I traded 172.5 calls as well. I made good money there. So was a decent big winner on Tesla, along with morning NVDA trade. Tesla was another huge winner for me personally. Next one we're going to look at is LI. So let's go back and see what was the plan on LI. LI had a news, the Bank of America had upgraded it, and I was neutral to bearish, although I was watching for any B- bounce, but we showed the cloud reject. You see 35.50, 36.30, there were two levels, There were two levels on LI. Let's see how those levels panned out. This 35.50 gave up right away at the open, right away at the open, and that's when I said, I mean, that's the short right there. Ideally, anybody trading LI should already be in before I mention it. That because other thing was it was breaking this daily 50 EMA daily on. You can see, right, breaking the 50 EMA daily. You can see it here. It's breaking the daily 50 EMA. So it's all bearish, right? 1 hour is bearish. And just as short, I just said shorted as per PM plan. And just all day guidance, short. On the first flush, I told everybody to lock at least 1/3. But then it broke this bear flag. 34 was the key. And all day fader. Then I was out at end of the day. Made a decent profit on LI. Repeatable setup, guys. Look at the daily chart, look at the 1 hour, look at what price is doing. You don't have to go crazy size. Just understand these setups, right? And you can see my timestamp guidance right from the open till end of the day. Pepsi was next one was Pepsi. Pepsi was a great trade. I missed it at the open, but I guided the traders who were trading Pepsi. Let's go back and see what was the plan on Pepsi. So Pepsi had overweight Morgan Stanley, so I told everybody to watch 166.20. That was the key level. If that don't hold, that is the key. If it don't hold, then we will gap fill. If it holds, we will bounce, and the resistance pivot is 167.90. As soon as it breaks the resistance pivot, that's it. That's a long, right? It didn't even pull back, and that's where you long it. And Pepsi was just a good long. I saw that and I mentioned it in the morning to everyone, and after that it was flagging, and I told about the flag to everyone. The flag break, you can see, since I said the flag break, from there SMCI went another almost $3, right? So my target I gave everybody was 172 plus, and that's what we hit, 172 plus. You can see it was at 171 here, and by the time I said it will hit 172 plus, it hit 172 plus. So another winning trade. Daily became bullish, moved over the 50 EMA 3450 clouds. When something moves over 3450 clouds on daily, it's very important. So understand that importance of daily clouds is very important, right? So next one we're going to look at is XPEV. So let's see what was the plan on XPEV. So let's go back and look at our plan. So XPEV, there was news that they are making some cheap EV. That's nothing, right? And the simple trade versus $10. $10 hold, we long it. $10 doesn't hold, we short it. Resistance was 1037. You can watch that resistance. You can hit the short on that resistance as well. Now let's see what happened. Rejected the resistance right away. The first 10-minute candle. You watch first 10 minutes. You watch. You don't have to trade that. When it rejects, even if you try to long it, you get out right away. When the price goes under the opening price, you get out right away. If you short here, your risk is this area, 1037, right? You risk like 20 cents, and then you add under $10. So that's what I was saying. If breaks 10, it's gonna fade more. Breaks 10, it's gonna fade more. And end of the day, it faded from 10 to 970, right? It's a big move for this stock, which has ATR of like 60 cents, and some of the calls went 100%, like I think 10 puts went 100% for many traders who were trading XPEV. So it's all about the execution, right? The idea is there, so you just have to execute. And I try to show my guidance as soon as I see something moving. So Navy Vet was doing good. He made 10 puts. He made on XPEV, he did 10 puts. So really good job by Navy Vet there, right? So he got 120 on XPV. That's his execution. I love it. Look at this amazing execution by XPEV. So that's what I want to see. So next one we are quickly going to look at is Micron. So let's go back. What was the plan on Micron? So Micron was on the news play. Morgan Stanley lifted the target. Whenever this target lift gap ups, we are not just bullish, we keep eyes on either side. 96 was support pivot, 98 was resistance pivot. My bias was neutral to start the day, but as soon as it breaks that 96, that's it. That's it, guys. That's it. That's a gap fill trade. Look at first 10 minutes, I told everybody it's gap filling. I was busy in other trades, but I tried to update my team that what we're going to do. When ma'am, you faded from that gap fill from the 96 all the way to 93.70, right? So when you win, you hold your winners. Be patient, put your stops. If it's working, put your stops here 96.20, and then it's working, move your stops, break even. Either you win big or you don't, or you go out flat. That's it. It never gets over the cloud. Just hold it, let it work, hold it, don't keep looking at it, let it work. And look at that, Micron from 96 pivot to 93.80. You could have easily made $2 there. Next, I'm going to look at another one, which was our day 2 play. So Groupon was our day 2 play. 13.20 was the pivot. You see, 13.20 was the pivot. And if you see what happened on Groupon was my price alerts went in at 13.30. And what happened after 13.30? Non-stop push, right? So just wanted to show you the idea, the power of the pivots. Ideally, you could long on the day 2 when it's getting over 34.50 EMA Clouds, and then you can add more over those pivots. And it was a good, not a bad scalp, right? 13.50 into 14.30s. Even if you have 500 shares, right? You're risking a little bit here. You risk what? You risk $150 if you want to risk here, and you made what, right? Almost 500 shares, $400, right? Risking 150, not a bad risk reward there. All right, let's look at SMCI. SMCI initially was my long idea to everyone, but that kind of didn't work. That was a losing idea. But then I told everyone, when at the open, I told that you can trade with NVIDIA, right? You can trade SMCI, sympathy of NVIDIA, but when it was breaking this 1100, okay. So I told everybody it's a good long, right? We were scalping, NVIDIA was good for us, all good. But then, it didn't work. It was a loser. But then when SMCI broke the clouds, I said no long there. If stays heavy, short scalps under the clouds, just like NVIDIA 900 and clouds. This was 1100 and clouds, and the target I gave 1020 and 1000. You can pause the screen and see, but end of the day we met 1020. And I also told people that 1000, if it doesn't hold, it's going to fade much more, because I explained it to them how the noob traders, amateur traders are going to buy the dip, and when it's not going to work out, it's going to crush them further, and they're going to stop out, and we get more flush on SMCI. So SMCI faded from my 1100 idea, it faded $150. So that was my guidance on SMCI short. So let's look at next one, LOGI Tech. So LOGI Tech I was short. It breaks this pivot, I was short, but then it came right back out to me. It got over 512, so I stopped out, took a quick loss, and then I told everybody just to watch the 512 curl, and it did become bullish and pushed to 34.50. As always, the stock pushes to 34.50. Could have been a good long scalp, but I told everybody you can watch the long scalp. If you did, it was good, but I just moved on after taking the loss on the short. Keeping loose is small, guys. That's what the system helps. I didn't hold the short all the way. You see, I closed the short right here. Google, I'm not going to talk much about Google, but I'm just going to say that our swing has been really paying us good. Today was the day to lock good size on swing, because there was AI news. We were gapping up. You can see here, I gave everybody the swing at 130, 136. Now we are at 150 out of most of the position. And probably will close everything little bit tomorrow if it keeps failing, and then there's a gap fill. Maybe we get the gap fill short tomorrow if market weak. So there's a big gap here. So that's a big gap up for Google, all the way from 141 to 150. That's a huge gap, guys. So tomorrow we watch it. Any pop and fails, back into the gap fill. Just want to point out another trade by our great trader named Community Kyle, who was on top of Netflix. And if you see, Netflix had a price target increase today. Loop Capital is okay. and everybody was on Netflix. Let's go back, let's see our levels on Netflix. So levels on Netflix today were 610 was the resistance pivot. We are interested in the resistance pivots, right? So 610 held, right? This 610 pulled back, became a support and held. Then it broke over the highs, and then I was talking about Netflix. It was not my trade. I was just this Kyle did a good. You can see Kyle, his match. They have been talking about it since morning, right? Since 10 they saw the strength, and I just gave them targets because I looked at the daily chart on Netflix, and daily charts on Netflix definitely had good levels. I need to clean these price alerts. So you see Netflix definitely had this daily level that key breakout. That's what the target I gave everybody at 622s that I meant, and it met all the targets. So nice teamwork, community trade on Netflix today. You can see all the guidance. Kyle was all about Netflix. Great job, Kyle. So let's look at RILY. So what was the plan on RILY? So RILY was our pre-market game plan on RILY was where is it? Here you go. Their annual report was not good, so they were down. The support was 15, resistance was 16. I had a bearish bias. I said break down under 15, but it never broke the 15 level, right? Pushed, faded, held 15. Look at it, held 15. Look at this candle, like 15. So there was no short there, right? So I saw that there was no short there on RILY. No trade for me because it held that and then it pushed there. If I saw the weakness, I would have told in the morning, but was definitely you could have long scalped it. I think few traders did on the 15 or get out the clouds, and a nice $2 push on RILY. Not bad there. Let's look at other few names that they were on our game plan. ERJ 23-24 were two levels. I didn't really have any much plans on that. I left it as is, but ERJ, when it was a good fade at open, and then it made a nice recovery. So I ignored it because there was not much volume, but I did give the pivot levels to everyone in the pre-market, 23 and 24, and you see it faded $1 from 23 and then it bounced back, and so you should just when you see this curl happening at 10 a.m. you should just step away. So there was another losing idea from the game plan, which was SAIC. Bearish bias to short the pops. I didn't trade it, but it was a losing idea because the point here was we wanted to short it on the pops, but when it popped, it made higher low, higher low. So there was no short. Somebody was asking me and I said there's no short. If you short here, get out right away. Take a loss, get out right away, because it's not breaking down. We want to see push and fade. And this is other problem. Right before the market open, when a candle makes this, we just have to be careful, right? Sometimes it just swipes right back on your face. So there was a losing idea there, but was a good long regardless. You could have traded long versus this level and you could have made decent. I think few people were long on SAIC. RGV was long, yeah, so there were definitely few traders who longed it. Navy Wet was long it, so we can watch it tomorrow for a back push on SACI. Not a big deal. It's kind of has 1 hour gap there. Alright guys, let's close the video by SPY QQQ guidance today. The guidance on SPY QQQ were pretty straightforward. Out of the gate, I told everybody that we can long scalp it, right? Long scalp it, and that was it. Long scalp in the morning, and that was the morning long scalp trade when it's held this and pushed here, and that's it. And when it was breaking 512, I agree. The all day in my community, SPY QQQ guidance is automated. Every time the clouds are breaking up or breaking down, my alerts go in like it was breaking the 512s. That's the first warning I gave. So 512 breaks, it goes to 3450, right? So I told everybody 512 breaks, it will pull to 3450. That's why I told everyone, and that was a short. Nice B minus short. That's okay. And then it breaks 3450 again. It breaks 3450 and then good short scalp at the end of the day as well. So it's just by the system, guys. Nothing random, just by the system. That's the guidance. That's the power of our community. We stay on the top of everything. We keep our losers small and we keep our winners big, just like you saw on Tesla, Adobe, LI. That's what we do, guys. Hopefully you guys learned something today. Please sure to comment. I really appreciate it. Ask me any question you have, and if you want to trade with me, come join the community. Thank you so much for your support. See you tomorrow.